Hello and welcome to another episode of the Prepping with Darren podcast. My name is Darren Reed, your host. Now this is episode 11, and I wanted to give an update as far as what's going on with the coronavirus. Today there was a casualty, February 29th of 2020. Someone did die from complications. Now they did test positive for the coronavirus. Now the person was, they were in their 50s, but they did have other health issues as it was. I've read different stories where one was a woman. One story says it was a woman, one story says it was a male. So I'm not positive just yet on that. I haven't been able to determine whether it was a male or female. But they do state that they had no travel history to anywhere that outbreaks are currently going on. There are currently 50 people with symptoms, and they are actually being tested for the coronavirus at a Kirkland nursing facility. Now, Kirkland, Washington is where the person passed away at. That's where I guess that's where they lived. Kirkland is in King County. I do apologize. I'm a little bit nasally. I don't know what sinuses or what's going on, but now they did actually name the disease, the illness that it causes, the coronavirus to COVID-19. That is COVID-19. That's what they're calling the sickness now. Now, in the article that I put out about a week or so ago, I did talk about some of the complications that it does cause. Everyone's different. Some people do get more severe cases. Now, in those severe cases, you usually end up with a respiratory illness like pneumonia and stuff like that. And if you already have breathing issues as it is, it's just harder for you to fight it off. The CDC and the, DHS, they are saying that there's no reason for citizens to be buying up the N95 masks. If you don't already have masks and you want to buy some, they're going to be pretty expensive. I've seen quite a few price gouging going on. The particles of the virus are smaller than what the mask can filter out. But now, with that being said, any preventative measure that you do take can help. But if you were to just buy masks up, not knowing how to actually use them, that really wouldn't do you too much good. Now, you have surgical masks where you can put over your face, but masks like N95 masks, you do gotta fit to your face. That way there's a good seal on it. But they are stating that there's going to be a shortage of masks to use for the healthcare providers. Now, that isn't just for the coronavirus, stuff like that. That also goes for other illnesses that can actually be beneficial to have a mask. But from what they are stating is that the coronavirus is too small to be filtered out through the N95 masks. Now, they could just be saying that, but who knows? But there were cases in China as well. I think there's other places as well where healthcare workers had actually came down with the coronavirus. I want to say one was through the eye is how he got it. There's not really a widespread outbreak here in the U.S. currently. You don't really want to be just walking around with masks on all the time anyways. If you haven't used them before, they can be kind of hard to breathe through. I've used them before. They suck. They can be pretty hard to breathe through. I have breathing issues as it is. And I've done some jobs where you had to wear masks, and they do get hot, make your face sweaty and stuff. But one good thing is that it does kind of help prevent you from messing around with your face a little bit, unless you keep moving your mask around. And if you do that, you don't have a really good fit, and it's not really doing you much good anyways. But the government does state that they currently have only about 30 million N95 masks in the national stockpile. There are as many as 30 million masks needed in the U.S. for healthcare workers. So if that is the case, then they are really behind on that. If you have noticed, the stocks over in China and here in the States have been taking a hit. Now, I did hear where Apple was getting back to decent productions. Other things that are exported from China are more likely going to be taking a hit. There are still people in quarantine. It's a lot of people out of work currently, as far as like factory work and stuff, but I'm not sure how many of those people that are in quarantine actually work in factories. Now, there are a lot of things going around the internet about what's going on in China itself, and honestly, none of that can be proven one way or the other. China is not like it here. China is not like it is here in the States. They do their own thing, I guess. China is a communist state. Anything that makes them look bad, they don't really want that to get out to the rest of the world. And I mean that's pretty much with any country, really. No one wants to look weak in the eyes of others. I did state that the outbreak did start around Wuhan, China, and that is currently still the case. Now they originally thought it was coming from the wet market, but from what I've seen here lately, they're not positive if that's where it actually came from. But it more likely did come from bats, or at least it came from strains of bats. Or the strains that are found in bats normally is the strains that have mutated to become the virus it is today, I guess. But as far as the stocks have taken a hit. Now, China, they did actually put money into the economy to help prevent a stock crash. Now, I don't know if the U.S. is going to do anything like that or not, but I know that stocks have been going down, but there are a lot of fears on a national level. People are really kind of worrying about what's going on. But like I did say earlier, there was right about just under 86,000 cases, official cases, I guess, or what's been released to the public. But from what I've seen is China has a lot more than what they're stating that they have, which very well could be the case. Now that goes for cases in general as well as casualties. There are a lot of reports about the flu versus the coronavirus. Now, currently the coronavirus and flu, as far as here in the States, flu is more deadly. But from what I've understood is on a global scale, the coronavirus is more deadly for the amount of patients. Now, that was mostly due to Iran. They had a lot more casualties for the amount of people that had contracted the disease or the illness. Now, there were some additional travel restrictions set in place, I think, yesterday. That was to Italy, South Korea, and Iran. Now, you really shouldn't be going to any countries that has the outbreaks. You want to limit travel through airplane, things like that, where you're cramped in a space. Now, there was a report of a flight attendant, I think, out of LAX that had come down with it. Now, one thing you should keep in mind is that there are a lot of people that actually catch the coronavirus, but it's not going to be deadly to everybody. Now, with that being said, if you are in good health, have a good immune system, you should be all right, but there are still cases where people that are in decent health and are not old actually die from it. But that's the same with the flu as well. Now, currently there is a vaccine for the flu, but there is not a vaccine for the coronavirus. Now they are working on it, but as far as like a large scale vaccine, that's gonna be a ways off. Now me, I try and keep my immune system in good condition. About the last week or two, I haven't really been getting much sleep, and rest is pretty good to keep your immune system boosted. But you also want to boost up your vitamin D, D3, vitamin B12, vitamin C. Now I do take supplements as well. I take the vitamin B12, vitamin D3. Now the vitamin C I get through lemons. I drink lemon water. So I try to drink lemon water every day when I get up before work. Now that can help boost your vitamin C levels as well. But currently there are 51 countries with confirmed cases. Now there were some new cases that popped up. Brazil, there was I think one case, and Mexico had two. I think they had 2 or 3 cases. Now there have been more cases here in the States. Now they are currently able to test up to 200 tests a day, and there are currently 50 people that have symptoms for the coronavirus that they're going to be tested as well, and those are going to be at a long-term care facility or a nursing home. Now, a lot of folks in nursing homes they're not in the best of health, so it's kind of bad when they actually get something like this. It can be pretty bad. The incubation period is anywhere from 2 days to up to 24 days, last I had heard. Now they were thinking it was up to 2 weeks, so they were quarantining people. They were quarantining people for 2 weeks, about 14 days, and then later on they found out it could actually be longer than that. Now what they would do in the quarantine, they would test them twice. I'm guessing it was possibly once a week, and if they had 2 negative tests, and they were good to go. But then there were some people that had 2 negative tests and came down sick, and they ended up getting tested again, and they came back positive. So that was after 2 negative tests. So it's really kind of hard to clamp down on something like that because of that. It can be tricky to detect. But the nursing home where there are people that are possibly sick with it, that is actually going to be in Kirkland, Washington. I want to say that's not too far from Seattle, I think. But you should be trying to wash your hands as much as possible. Now you can use hand sanitizer as well, but it's best to use hot water and soap to wash your hands with. But if you don't have if you don't have access to running water, you should definitely at least use the like hand sanitizers and stuff. Now me, I always try not to touch doorknobs, fuel pump handles, gas pump, things like that, key card readers, keypads. If I have to use something like that, I'll use my gloves, or when I'm opening up doors, I'll use the sleeve of my jacket. And I try to keep my hands washed. Now, since I do have a 2-month-old now, I definitely don't want to be bringing anything home to him. Now, since there are quite a bit of cases of the flu going around, I definitely don't want to take that chance. Now, the wife was vaccinated during pregnancy, but he's too young to be able to receive the vaccine currently, so I definitely don't want to be bringing that home to him. But yeah, the best thing you can do is keep your hands clean. Don't be touching your face. Don't be rubbing your eyes. Things like that. And if you are around people that are coughing, try not to be around them too much. And if you think that they're sick, suggest that they wear a mask of some sort or cover your mouth up with something as well. Just try and lessen the amount of stuff that you breathe in from them. Now that could be for people with the coronavirus or the flu or anything like that. especially if you have young kids around, like I do. You want to do your best to not bring anything home to them. Currently, there's no widespread outbreaks here in the States like there is in other countries. Now, the flu, on the other hand, there are a lot of states with the flu, confirmed cases of the flu, and you really want to try not catch it, whether or not you are vaccinated or not. Here in Ohio, there was a doctor, I think out of Cleveland. He was vaccinated, but he ended up catching the flu, and he ended up passing away, I think a day or two ago. Just because you get the vaccine doesn't mean you're completely protected. But he was he was a doctor, healthcare worker and stuff, so he was around that stuff all the time. So that does up your chances of contracting things like that. The government says that they're doing the best that they can. They are trying to not. Well, it depends on which news outlet you look at. They don't really want to get people scared and all that stuff, panicking and stuff. But if you have noticed, there are places that are running out of food a lot faster. People are actually buying up a lot of supplies because they're kind of worried about what's going on. You should do your best to get what you can. But if you already have it on hand, then that's even better. What we ended up doing before the move, everything in the deep freeze, we just ended up giving away to family because it was like a 12-hour drive, which turned out to be 3 freaking days with with the kids having to stop every couple of hours. Wasn't used to that, but it took much longer than expected, and the food wasn't going to last that long. I was going to run the inverter. It didn't work in the U-Haul for some reason, so it ended up just giving all the food away. Canned foods and stuff like that, we just kind of let run down, and we were just going to buy food when we moved here, and we ended up doing that. Some other supplies we just kind of let run down. That way we didn't have to move so much because we ended up still having a full 26-foot U-Haul full of stuff. But with taxes, we also used some of the money to buy more supplies, getting some more water storage containers, as well as going to be buying up quite a bit of food. Now with the newborn, or well, 2-month-old, I guess, he's on formula, so we're going to be buying up some tubs of formula, get that stocked up, stock up on food, toilet paper, things like that, stuff for the deep freeze. Now, with the deep freeze, I'm now able to use the backup power for it, just in case, like I run it through the truck battery. Now, where we moved to, there's not really many power outages or anything like that, but the water does the water does often get shut off to do repairs to the main lines. I don't know if that's an ongoing issue or if they're just redoing the lines. They shut it off every couple of weeks to repair stuff. If there is like a major outbreak here in the States, you do want to prevent going out in public. Now, what we use, and we use this like the last couple of weeks when we was in Oklahoma, we would use when we would do the shopping, we would use Walmart grocery app, and there's other apps. I think like Meijer has apps. Some of the other grocery stores, Kroger, I don't know if they do it or not. But what we do is we do the grocery pickup, which is pretty much we'll just use the phone to look up everything that we need. And that does help stop with the impulse buying, and allows us to save money as well because we can compare prices between the different stores in the area. Now, as far as I know, there's no fee with Walmart, but there might be other fees with other ones if you don't spend a certain amount. I know Meijer and Walmart, they require at least $30 worth, but so far we've been able to get cheaper stuff at Walmart. So we haven't used the Meijer app yet for the pickups. One of the main reasons why we started doing that is because the baby and stuff, don't really want to get him out in public and all that stuff with everybody getting sick. The flu's going around like crazy. If there's any more breaking news or anything like that, like any outbreaks, if things are going pretty bad in Washington, I'll probably give an update next weekend on this, or something else as well. Hopefully I'm breathing a little bit better next weekend. No sinuses and stuff. I think I'll go ahead and get the editing this podcast so I can get it uploaded for you guys. And if you do have any questions, be sure to leave a comment down below in the comment section, or go to the website, preppingwithdarren.com, or the YouTube channel Prepping with Darren as well. And thank you for listening.